Hello class, and today we will be returning to the tutorial level of Dark Souls, the Undead Asylum. So the enemies there have all been replaced with higher level enemies, of course, so you don't have to worry about it being too easy or anything. And if anything, it was probably actually meant for higher level characters. I saw a wiki guide and walkthrough that actually had you do it after Blighttown. So this guy's an NPC. He can absolve your sins, basically meaning if you attacked an NPC and they're hostile, you can revert them, or you can rejoin your covenant if you sinned or something. It's pretty nice, but it's very costly. That is the what is it gesture. It is the accepted trolling gesture in Dark Souls. So there's some rings. They can increase your resistances to certain stat effects. I would recommend the Poison Bite ring if anything, because the area we're going to, Blighttown, gives you a lot of poison effects. The Purging Stone there, it reduces curse buildup and removes curses. This will be very effective in the depths. There is an enemy that can curse you, and cursing kills you instantly and permanently removes half of your health bar until you can get it removed with a Purging Stone or some other kind of healing. So you're going to need quite a few of those, although generally you only make the mistake to get cursed once. So I just bought two just to be safe, especially because we had a surplus of souls going on here. So yeah, let's go. There's a little shortcut here. You can just jump off the ledge. Be prepared to fight the Balder Knights, though. So go ahead and just one-hit them with your Zweihander. If you notice, hitting near them actually staggered them. Neat little tidbit there. So there. You can see our poise helped us to attack even when we were being attacked, so we did not get staggered. It's quite a nice little touch there. So anyway, let's just go ahead and run down to the bonfire, I think. This long, needlessly long hallway with our heavy armor on, There's a ghost. Ghosts sometimes appear as little phantoms of other figures. They basically show you what what another random player is doing right at that moment. I think they might have to be in human form. I don't think so, though. And if they appear near a bonfire, you actually see what kind of armor and weapons they're using. It's kind of interesting. But, well, just another little tidbit in Dark Souls. So go ahead and talk to this guy. And let's go ahead and purchase these smith boxes here. This basically lets you reinforce your armor and weapons at a bonfire. Now you can't do the modify equipment thing, so you can only upgrade 5 levels at once. But other than that, it's actually very useful. So this is the what is it gesture I forgot to show you guys earlier. Basically, it's like all snotty and arrogant. So yeah, it's a favorite of trolls and such. So yeah, let's go ahead and run up this way, and I'm going to show you the way to get to the Undead Asylum. Let's go ahead and rest at the bonfire here. As you can see, we have the upgrade menu from the blacksmith here. And it's all the same, you don't have to worry about any costing anymore or anything. And we also have the repair box. So this basically makes our bonfire a walking blacksmith that can't modify equipment or sell items. So that's quite a nice little touch. Anyway, let's go ahead and go to the Firelink Shrine shortcut, because the way you get back is also from the way you got there. Now it's actually quite a little secret. You only really know how to get here if you're set on exploring Firelink from all possible angles. So yeah, you can catch yourselves lucky that I'm showing you. So go ahead and get rid of these guys, as usual. And you don't want anyone following you, so just go ahead and kill anyone who gets in your way, or is slightly to the left of your way. Anyway, just run down to the Firelink shortcut as I told you earlier, and be prepared to jump off of it. Now don't walk towards that wall. There's actually a really long drop coming up soon. See right about now, there's a really big drop. What you want to do is you want to get off onto this little ledge here. And then once you're here, you can do a normal roll off of this ledge onto that pillar. So I'm actually going to miss this one because I'm really bad at jumping. So there, off to the side of it. I missed it, I took some damage, I gotta run through the skeletons. Oh well. Now I think I'll pause the video, and there we go. So, I rolled. Simple rolling works. Could get onto that ledge. So now you just roll off onto here. You're gonna have to repeat the roll process again, but you're gonna want that key. It's the access to one of the secret items in Dark Souls. I think I'm gonna... yeah. So let's go ahead and jump down here. It's a neat little jumpy pathy thing. And there's the snoring person. He'll wake up once we ring both bells. So let's just go ahead and get out of his way now. And run down to the bonfire, I think? No. Yeah. So, the crestfallen warrior.
Surprise.
He didn't expect us to make it, and he says that somebody rang the bell, and he's a little surprised that it was us. He says we're stubborn.
How you do it? Well, don't stop now.
So, only one more, but it's gonna be suicide. So we're running down to Blight Town, and this is a lot of people's very least favorite area of the entire game. And I can see why they think that. Anywho, go ahead and run up back to the elevator. Past Petrus and up the stairs to his right. To your right, when you're facing him. Yeah. And then, go ahead and get on the elevator. It is difficult, but not entirely impossible to get up onto the area from here. As you can see, it has less landing space, but it's there. So as you can see, simple rolling will suffice. If you were wearing heavy armor, it would be actually really hard to get up that little ramp there. So anyway, just make a tight curve there and walk up here. Won't bother about that door. So we're going to go ahead and switch back into our heavy armor. And step onto the nest and curl up like a ball. A lot of people think this is kind of funny. They take screenshots and stuff, and it's like, I don't want to live or anything. I don't know. But anyway, you're going to have to wait here for quite a bit before the cutscene triggers. But once it does, you'll be taken right back to the end of the Undead Asylum. And from there, you can work your way backwards. And it should be right about now. There. So, now you just sit here for a bit. And then the crow, who carried you to the Undead Asylum, will carry you back. So that's a nice little touch, of course. And there's us, curled in a little ball. Why does the crow always leave behind feathers? Oh, but anyway, drops you back down at this new nest here. So we're gonna go ahead and get back up. And here we are at the Undead Asylum. So yeah. So be careful of these guys. They're basically the pink hollow dudes, except they have fire damage, and they have much more dangerous fire attacks. It didn't stagger us, but it did a lot of damage. So be very careful of these guys. As you can see, I was stupid enough to get killed. So be very careful, but these guys are entirely it is entirely possible to kill these guys. So I think I'm probably gonna pause the video until we show it back. So there we are, we're back at the asylum. So let's go ahead and run down this way to grab our souls and humanity back. So anyway, I'm gonna take a more cautious approach with these guys. Try to use the heavy attack, it gives you more room in a run thing. Whoa, I almost died there again, but fortunately their flurry attacks can only do 2. So we'll go ahead and make sure you're at full health. You do not want to die to these guys. Unfortunately, this is the only part of the asylum where they show up, although they are a major enemy, I think, in Blight Town in the depths, the area just before it. So yeah. Anywho, go ahead and run up here. There is no online play in this area, mostly just to facilitate the oncoming of new players. So you won't see any player-written messages, or summon signs, or get invaded or anything. So you don't need to worry about any of that. Now don't step in the middle of that big floor. I'll show you what happens when you do later, but let's just say at least to the boss fight. So anyway, let's actually go ahead and level up a bit. We're going to level up all our stats. Actually, that's not level up yet. But we're going to be spending all the rest of our stat points either upgrading our weapons, or we're going to spend all of our stat points either upgrading our weapons or vitality and endurance, the two survivability stats, pretty much. So let's go ahead and run back to our cell. It's a nice little touch that one of the items needed to unlock a certain special area later in the game is actually right back where you started. So anyway, if you can just see him there's a Black Knight waiting for us. These guys are real pushovers. You can actually stagger them now with one hit from the Zweihander's heavy attack. And you can backstab them for a ridiculous amount of damage. And then launch another heavy attack and stun them. So as you can see, we've pretty much got it all figured out here. And that was a dual heavy attack. You just pick it right back up and swing it again. As you can see, we got the Black Knight sword finally. So it's a very nice early game weapon. As you can see, it does more base damage than the Zweihander already, but it requires 18 dex to use, so it's not a very easy weapon to use. That's the Peculiar Doll. You need to have that in your inventory if you want to access the painted world of Artemius, or I don't know, something like that. So anyway, we're right back where we started, except with better loot and less enemies. So anyway, let's get a move on now. Now the doll thing, you don't have to equip it or anything, and it's not a special secret. You just have to have it in your inventory. So now that you have it, you're pretty much set to access pretty much every area in the game. So yeah, feel happy about that. So go ahead and climb back up out the ladder, and we are going to follow our path through the asylum and see what new goodies and baddies that people can throw at us. So go ahead and rest here. Now I'm trying to avoid leveling up for now because we are trying to spend our souls on upgrading our weapons and armor and stuff. But if you are in danger of losing your souls, just go ahead and spend them. So yeah. So let's go ahead and run down into this little doorway here. As you can see, jumping through these jars can break them. Go ahead and run through here. It won't close behind you, so don't worry about that. And go ahead and rest at this bonfire. So now we have a better starting point. And it's telling us to get our shield, well, we already have one, and there is yet another Black Knight. So yeah, here we go. This guy should be just about as easy as the previous one. In fact, he leaves himself open to a backstab from right away. The only difference between these guys and the guys we fought earlier was that these guys are all fought in really, really enclosed hallways, which can make it kind of annoying to fight them. And they don't respond to my attacks, pretty much. So anyway, we got another Black Knight sword, along with another 1,200 souls. So it's pretty nice. So we'll go ahead and run up here. And you might be wondering what happened to that guy who died after he gave us our Estus Flask. Well, you know, once people die, they go hollow, right? So now we get to fight him. He actually gives us a really nice magic-resistant shield. That's the one he's using right now. It's called the Crest Shield. And he also does a bunch of fancy rolls. I think it might be supposed to simulate PvP combat, but overall it does a pretty bad job of it, in my opinion. So anyway, just go ahead and kill him good. And he'll do like a little death animation that any other player would have. Give you a few souls, and leave the Crest Shield. So it's pretty much just like the Dragon Crest Shield, except it has better magic resistance than fire. So judging from that, it's not quite as good as the shield we're using now. You can see the item up there. The key we grabbed on top of the little rounded ceiling thing will lead us to that item there. So let's go ahead and back to the other stairs, which actually lead up. And running. So anyway, over in here there's nothing, pretty much. You don't need to worry about that too much. Let's go ahead and go down these stairs. And turns out there was something I missed on our first run. There's a shortcut back to the bonfire down here. So that's pretty nifty. Anyway, yeah, let's go ahead and snag our rest at it just to be safe. And let's go ahead and run back through the shortcut we just opened. Anyway. So it turns out the boulder respawned too, and I was stupid enough to think of that. So it broke through the wall again. That was already broken. So it's just another pink hollow dude. I really don't know why they didn't choose to like change up these guys, but well, I'm not one to complain. That is the two-handed, basically increases the damage your weapon does and decreases the strength requirement. So that's pretty nice, but we wouldn't go around two-handed weapon all the time. We intend to block. As you can see, it's pretty hard to block with a two-handed weapon, as most of them don't even have 100% physical resistance. So let's go ahead and walk in here. Now there's two hollow soldiers, but they're really easy now, because we can one-hit everyone. So this guy's just gonna keep his shield up all the time. Kinda gets on my nerves, but at least we do a little damage every time we knock it down. And he's... oh, there's an attack, and he didn't even lower his shield. Anyway. So it does work, but it's very inefficient. So there's the key. Let's go ahead and run down and grab, finally, the rusted iron ring. So walk down a bit. There we go. This lets us walk better in waist-high water. Basically, improves balance on poor footing, yeah. When the water is, like, up to your waist or something, you can walk normally. It's quite nice, really, but any water higher and you would drown. So, let's go ahead and get started with that boss fight by running down through this shortcut here. Resting at the bonfire and leveling up a bit. Let's go ahead and put both of our many souls into endurance, because that stat is pretty low right now and it's necessary to be using heavy equipment later in the game. So kill these guys. You do not want them to follow you into the boss fight area. Now this boss fight is very long and drawn out, so I went ahead and sped it up just so you don't get like all surprised when I start going faster. Anyway, let's walk into the center and the floor breaks. Sped this fight up a bit. Probably should have thought of something with the music, but anyway. Sounds kind of like a circus, doesn't it? Anyway, as you can see, our Zweihander's barely doing any damage. So this boss fight is not going to end well. As you can see, he has very powerful magic area of effect attacks. And we are losing health very quickly, and we have barely got down like an eighth of his health. You can't study my tactics and try to defeat him if you want, but overall, they'll just end up killing you with one of his heavy attacks. And that was fun. Anyway, so, hi guys, I'm back at normal speed, and somehow, after fighting the boss many times, I somehow managed to lose all of our souls and humanity. So, sucks to be us. Oh well. So anyway, we had a bit too much humanity anyway. So we're not going to bother fighting this guy anymore, even though although our souls and humanity are permanently lost, so there's no need to go back and get them. You can see our Zweihander is not satisfactory. Is not doing satisfactory damage to the boss. So we can come back to fight this guy later, but the only real special drop he has is a large amount of souls. So you really don't need to worry about this guy too much. There's nothing special I need to show you or anything. So yeah, you really don't need to worry too much about this guy. He doesn't have any special drops, like I already said. I think we're going to come back here before we enter the Dark Root Basin, because it's 20,000 souls is just enough to buy the Crest of Artorias item. this is a neat little NPC here. Her name is something. Oh, girl, I don't even know. But anyway, you can drop an item in her nest here. There's a specific trading list of what she will give you if you put a specific item in. Basically, you put an item in, you quit and reload the game, you come back and it's a different item. But it only works for certain specific items in the game. So I would definitely recommend looking up the list on the wiki. So go ahead and rest here. And the return trip is much faster. On any subsequent trip back and forth the Asylum, the cutscene triggers almost instantly from when you rest. So let's go ahead and return to the Asylum. Return to Firelink. And yeah, I'm already missing all this humanity. Huh. So anyway, just take my advice. Don't fight the stray demon, and don't go back to the Asylum yet. There's nothing really there necessary until just about Blighttown or anything. So you really don't need to worry about it too much. I was just showing it to you for the sake of showing it to you. So anyway, here we've got a neat little parkour thing going on. Okay. So anyway, I'm going to drop down on these little pillars here. And there's a snoring guy again. He pops up whenever you're in this area after you ring the first bell. So let's go ahead and run down to the bonfire just to give us a rest. I'm going to show you the way to the Darkroot Garden, I believe, next video. So that's pretty nice. That's one of the other optional areas of the game. There is an optional boss there also that should be much easier. And a much better set of armor that we can use. So, and we'll see you guys in the next video. Class is dismissed.